Good morning, guys. Good morning, everyone. Today I'm going to talk about 15 different features of QuickBook, and I'm going to share my screen in a while here. I just shared my screen. So let's start with the overview. So today I'm going to talk about mastering QuickBook Online 15 essential features for small business account. So meanwhile, I'm going to take with you with this PowerPoint. I'm going to take along with you with some features from the QuickBooks, so it's easier for you to understand how we're gonna go through with it. So along with this PowerPoint, I'm gonna take you with the QuickBooks, so it's you can have a good understanding, right? For some features. So let's start with my agenda. So in my agenda, I have overview of here 15 features. We're gonna start with the setting up an account, importing data, using the search function in QuickBook, and then we're gonna go towards the adding accounts for the chart of accounts, adding customer services, and then recording customer payment invoices, suppliers, adding recording an expense, and so on so far. So end up with the creating refund receipts. Let's start with my first agenda. So my first feature is how to set up your company account. So basically, we need to know that the accounts and settings section is where you enter and manage your company's core information in QuickBook. So how we go there, how we can do that? So we can go to the gear icon and then we can go to the accounts and setting. Here, I'm gonna share my other screen with you guys here. So you need to go to this gear icon, right? You need to go to this gear icon, and then here you can see underneath your company accounts and settings. And then you just need to click on your company name, your company logo. You can change the logo here, save, and then you can create your company name as it's the same as your company. It should be legal, right? Your business number, there's a number, legal number, right? So here 1 2 3 4 5 6 7, and then so on so far. What's the company type and your contact information and everything, right? You need to add everything, you need to enter and then save. Here you go. And in the end, you need to do done. So settings saved. So here, this is called the company setting, right? And the account settings, right? Next, we're going to start with importing data, right? So what's importing data? So basically, importing data is like when you in the customer, you have different customers data, vendors data, chart of accounts, and maybe a product or a services data from different Excel files, CSVs files, right? So you can import the data from other files to your QuickBooks. How you can do that? You need to go to the QuickBooks, right? And then you need to the gear icon. And here you can see the import data here. You have different, you can import data for bank data, customers, suppliers, chart of accounts, products and services, bills, journal entries, sales receipts, credit memos, invoices, right? So you can add different data from here, right? So we need to browse here, upload, and then we need to go to the desktop. We need to do this. So I have a sample file here, right? So hopefully it's gonna work for me. Let's go open. And then you need to go next. And then you can see there is a match, pick, and then this, and then you need to import. So it's already, look, because it's already imported, that's why you can import it again. So I already imported, but when you click onto the import button, right, it says all 6 out of 6 imported, right? So you can do that. This is how you import data, right? Going back to my slides, next is, search function in QuickBooks. So basically it's a tool in which you quickly can search different transactions, different reports, customer by their names and the vendors. So what you need to do is we need to get back to the QuickBooks. What you need to do is, so you need to just go back and just look here. There's a search for transaction contacts report. So you just need to name different bakery, look, different names and whatever you need, different customer, different invoices, checking, you can just write down the date or whatever you have, right? You can just do this and just add on it. So it's gonna take you towards the exact thing, right? This is how you can find with the big magnifying glass. Going to the next slide. So here it's called adding chart to the chart of accounts. So basically you can add different accounts, right? Different customer categories, whether they are banks, they are checking, they are savings, whatever they are, you can add their chart of accounts, right? You can add by their names, right? So what you need to do is gear icon, then again chart of accounts, and then new chart of accounts, adding a different accounts for the customers, whatever they're checking, their banks, whatever they are, right? And for the new slide, you can add a different customer to your QuickBooks. So what you need to do is you need to go to the sales and then you need to go to the customers and then new customers. You need to go to the sales and then you need to go to this customer and new customer. Here you can see the new customer. You can add details, their company name, their first name, and everything, their payment method, right? Everything you can just add on here, and then you can just give the save button. So then you can save a new customer, like I have other Alex Bakery, Brian Ford, Chris Smith, and whatnot. Here we have different customers. So this is how you can add a customer to your QuickBooks profile. Now here you can add a service. So basically first we want to know that what's a service. So actually a service is a non-physical product or task built to a customer. So these are actually intangible, right? You cannot touch them. So you can give a person to gardening or maybe snow removal, right? So these are called services. So you're providing services to your customers, right? So what you need to do is you need to go to the gear icon again, then products and services, and then you need to go to the new and then services. Moving forward to the next slide, you can create a customer invoices. So invoices are basically the customers' bills which we send to our customers for giving them and providing them goods and services on credit. So for this, you need to go to the new and then invoices. This is what you can do. Along with that, you can record a customer payment. So record when a customer pay their invoices because it's closes account receivable and update bank balance. So if a customer is paying you something, right? So, and you're receiving a payment, so you can just record into your QuickBooks. How you can record into your QuickBooks, you just need to go to the new, right? And here you go, receive payments, right? You need to choose a customer name, for example, Alex, right? Alex Bakery doesn't have any open invoice. Let's start with Brian Smith, right? And then choose payment method. You can say credit card, right? And then neighborhood bank, right? And then we can say invoice here, you can add it. Amount is, you can say $345 and then clear payment. Save, you need to do here. Here you can say 235.56. Save, and here you go, save and close. Here, payment, receive payment of $235. You can see on the screen. This is how you can make a payment to your customers, right? Because they paid you. So moving up to the next slide, adding a supplier. So you can add suppliers to your QuickBooks account. So you need to create a file for a new vendor supplier. So it's essential for entering if they're paying anything, if they have any expenses, their payments, right? So you can add them up. You have a record in your QuickBooks. So basically you need to go to your expenses, then vendors and new vendors. So expenses and then vendors. Here you can see in the background. It's easier, and then new vendor, you can do that, and then you can add their information, new vendors information, and accordingly. And then we can also record expenses, right, to track our business, right, expenses, that when and how and where to pay. So for this you need to go to the new, and then again expenses. Here you need to go to the new, and then you can see there is expenses. Okay, underneath the supplier, right? Expenses. So what do you pay? We can say we need to, I pay to Jason, right? And then TD Bank, right? And then inclusive tax. So they already include tax. It says advertisement for the purpose of, and amount is $325 sales tax, right? They're gonna put the sale tax and then save and close sales tax. Here you go, HST, right? And then here you go. Expenses 325 saved, right? This is how you're gonna record the expenses. So for the next slide, we have record checks, right? So we can also record different checks, so we can document manually payment and update bank activity. So we can keep an eye on our bank updates, that how much our bank paid by the check. So what we can do is we can go to the new, and then we can go to the supplier. Underneath you can see the checks, right? So here you can just add a new check here underneath all the checks, right? So you can do that. Again, we need to going back to our slides. You can also record bills. So record bills are the bills which we can pay later, right? So it can track upcoming liabilities and accounts payable. You can just keep an eye on your liabilities and accounts payable. So for this, again, you need to go to the new and then add a bill, right? And then you can reconcile. So that's my favorite, actually, I'm not gonna lie. So what you can do is to match QuickBooks, right, records with your bank statements, your credit card statement, whether you are reconciling them, they are equally, whatever you record in your QuickBooks and the bank statement you are having in your hand. So it is to ensure the accuracy of your financial data. So you need to go to the gear icon, and then you can just go to the reconcile and check whether everything is balanced, your checking, your savings, but whatever you have in your bank account, right? It's equal to the recorded transactions. Along with that, you can create a different memo and credit cards, right? That if you're giving some discount or you have any return goods, right? Whatever you have, you can just go to the new. Again, let me show you. You can go to the new, and here you can see the credit memo underneath the customers, right? So choose a customer, you can choose here his email account. Everything is going up because we have information of our customers, right? So we provide services, right? Rate should be, amount should be, for example, let's say 567, right? And we're not charging them any sales tax, right? So we just need to send this. So you can just go through with it, right? HST, and then here you go. You can just, here, you can just send the memo. You can also send them email, but I'm not sending them any email, right? I'm just gonna save, right? And then you can just add this, okay? You can just, here, email sent to this, right? And then we can create a memo of it. Again, going back to my slides. So it's gonna be the last slide. So creating refund receipt. So we can also create a refund receipt. For example, if we are issuing a refund for a paid customer invoice and track money where they're going back to customer, right? So we can create a refund, right? What you can do is you need to go to new, excuse me, and then you need to go to the new and then refund receipt. Here you go. And then choose a customer. We can say Kent, and it's his email, right? Payment method could be checking, right? Choose an account. We're choosing TD account, right? And then you can select, we are providing monthly services. Amount should be $900. HST is on already, right? And you can just create description, removal, removal, snow, just doing this, right? And then save and new here, customer refund issued. Okay, moving back to our slides. So here are some references. So as I showed you that I use QuickBook Online Institute, and for these slides, I used my professor's lessons. It was from system studies too. So I used lesson 1, 2, 3 until 11, lesson 11, right? Hopefully you like this video, and I'm gonna be very happy if you learn anything from my slides and the way I showed to you guys. And hopefully you enjoyed this video, and I shared all 15 essential QuickBooks features with you guys for a small business, and hope you like my video. Thank you so much.